Hello again. This is Satan's Trilogy, Book 3, Chapter 4, and reading 94. I am the author and the narrator. Sit back, relax, and let the story unfold. Esther had slowly left the room. Finding John standing in the living area, Esther walked over to him. The 5 men were Chinese that wanted change in China. They are all wanted by the Chinese government for radical action against the government. Esther smiled at John and added, "They were working on their own. I am certain the president is safe now." John gave Esther a hug. "Your father told me to never underestimate your skills and ability to understand others." John smiled and said, You must have school tomorrow. Esther, thank you so much for coming here to our aid." Esther smiled. "John, you were my dad's best friend. If you ever need me, I will come. Dad would have done the same." Esther gave John a kiss on his cheek and started to leave as she said, "I have school this morning. Please send any questions to my computer, and I'll answer them before I leave for school." When Esther finally reached home, she parked the Escalade at the far end of the parking lot and rode her Ninja up to her parking space. Esther loved riding her Ninja, and she planned on riding it to school in the morning. Entering her apartment, Esther found Brandy asleep on the sofa. She slowly woke her and smiled at Aunt Brandy, opened her eyes. "Esther," said Brandy, "I wanted to see your face before going to bed." Brandy smiled. "I thought of your father a lot today. You remind me of him. Not in your appearance, but your confidence. Your father had all the confidence in the world." Brandy smiled as her eyes drifted off to slumberland. Esther pulled her aunt up and off the sofa, helped her to bed. Esther tucked Brandy under the sheets, kissed her on the cheek, and said, "I thought of Dad today also. I think of him every day." Esther kissed her aunt's cheek and left the room. Aunt Brandy was in a deep sleep. Thinking about the past, Esther understood how life and relationships evolve. But with all of her knowledge, sometimes life was hard to accept. Esther walked to her side of the apartment and into the spare bedroom. Checking her emails, she spent 13 minutes responding to her friends around the world. Then Esther stripped down to her underwear and did her nightly exercises, lasting exactly 60 minutes. With her breathing only slightly elevated, Esther stripped down the rest of the way and stepped into her shower. Reviewing the day as the hot water massaged her body, Esther found complete comfort in knowing she had developed a nucleus of exceptional friends. The bathroom had an exceptional air system. The room never became foggy. Having finished her shower and missing someone not around to wash her back, Esther turned off the water and stepped out of the shower. Standing naked in front of the mirror, Esther grabbed the towel and wrapped it around herself. As she reached for her hairdryer, there was a slight tapping at the front door. Esther turned on the monitor and saw Daniel Elizabeth and Tracy Ann standing in the hallway. Immediately, Esther opened the door and welcomed them. "Oh my gosh, I can't believe my eyes," It is so good to see the both of you." Esther was thrilled and looked at Danielle Elizabeth first. She had her black hair cut short, and it was pulled out into spikes with the use of some hair gel. Her makeup was conservative gothic, with black to gray makeup on her eyelids and very dark red lipstick. She wore a light foundation that helped give her a fair complexion. The gold stud that was in her eyebrow was still there, with a smaller stud by its side. Esther smiled at Danielle and said, "You look wonderful. I have missed you so much." Esther gave Danielle a kiss on both cheeks and hugged her for a moment. Turning to Tracy Ann, Esther said, "Oh my gosh, you haven't changed a bit either." Tracy had the same facial makeup as her sister, but with additional studs in her right ear. Wearing all black leather jeans and jacket with black silk blouse. Their jackets had embossed lettering advertising that read, "The Bo Jackson Experience." And in large lettering across the upper back was written, "World Organization of Wrestlers." None of this was flashy, but it did look really good, especially on the girls' toned bodies. Esther gave Tracy a kiss on both cheeks and a huge hug, then stepped back. "I'm so glad you two came here." "Are you hungry?" asked Esther. Danielle smiled. "You are so wonderful, Esther. We just need to sleep and knew that you would want us to come here." "Of course I do. And Aunt Brandy is going to be so happy in the morning to see you." Esther had a huge smile across her face. "So what do you two need first?" Tracy said, "I think we just need a shower and some sleep. It's been a long day of travel in airports." Esther put her arms around both girls and said, "Let's go to my room and settle you two down." The three walked down the hallway. Esther said, "Why don't I pull out 2 of Day's silk pajamas for you while you shower? I know she wouldn't mind, and she'll be thrilled to hear you're back." Before Esther could finish her thoughts, Danielle and Tracy were both naked and heading for the shower. Esther laughed and thought to herself, "They will be asleep within minutes." She then placed some silk underwear out for the girls. They could have a choice of pajamas or a nightie. The girls both returned to the bedroom with all of their makeup and hairstyles washed away, grabbed some nighties, and climbed into bed. "Esther, please, will you sleep between us?" Tracy asked as Danielle looked on with the same question on her mind. The girls looked exhausted, but they wanted to have Esther with them as they dreamed during the night. Esther smiled. "I just happened to be ready for bed too, and tomorrow when you awaken, I will have a wonderful breakfast for my big sisters." Esther removed her bath towel, placed it onto the dresser behind her, and climbed between the two girls. No one said a word. All were asleep within a minute's time. Esther knew that they would share a dream. At what point during the night this happened, she wasn't certain. But in her dream, the 3 girls were all very young. They were the same age, maybe 12. Just young girls, not yet teenagers. They were in a large park throwing a frisbee to each other, and Aunt Tracy ran up to Esther and said, "That was so much fun. There's Dad. Let's ask him if we can get a popsicle." The girls ran up to the twins' father sitting on a park bench, and in very little time they were all enjoying a popsicle sitting alongside their father. Danielle took an inch off the end of the popsicle and chewed on it, then asked her dad a question. "Dad, "Do you know Esther's dad?" He smiled with a large grin. "Of course." Danielle quickly asked, "What's he like?" The twins' father smiled and said, "Well, he is a very special person, and he believes, like me, that you three make a great team." Danielle and Tracy both smiled when they heard that, and Esther was pleased also. The feeling was like the warm sun on your body. It had a wonderful feel, relaxing. The girls then continued to sleep. Esther awoke 3 hours later, highly energized and ready to start another day. She climbed out from the bed and started the morning's routine. First, the internet and any communications from John, then exercise, a shower, and finally preparing breakfast. The only email from John was a thank you for the quick response. Esther did her usual morning exercise that lasted exactly 60 minutes. Then she quickly went to the shower. She left her hair wet and went to the kitchen to start breakfast. 18 minutes later, everyone was staggering out to the kitchen, anticipating another wonderful meal. Brandy, though only half awake, walked into the room as the twins stepped out from the hallway towards the kitchen. Excited from having seen the twins, Brandy forgot her need for the Jamaican coffee and went to the twins. Brandy reached out with her arms ready to hug them, Danielle, Tracy, and said, "Aunt Brandy, missed you both so much. Welcome home." Brandy was hugging both girls at once and gave each a kiss on her cheek. "This is so exciting. How long will you be able to stay this time?" "We are free until Friday. W.O.W. has scheduled a grudge match here in Chicago, and Bo is going to be wrestling the Great Rhino," said Danielle. Tracy quickly added, "Friday, we meet for about a half day's worth of instructions, and then the wrestling matches will be on Saturday night." Tracy then added, "We have tickets for everyone." "Everyone?" asked Esther. "That could be a large number." "Well, we can come up with as many as 18 tickets. All will be close to the action," said Tracy, "but we need the number by tomorrow night." "Awesome. What a wonderful way to have some fun. The day after graduation," said Esther. Breakfast was wonderful as usual. Brandy was thrilled to have the twins back and reluctantly left the table to dress for work. "Danielle and Tracy, I have to get moving, but I hope to see both of you tonight, and I am so looking forward to Saturday night," said Brandy. Esther walked out to the parking lot, excited to give Day the update on the twins and Saturday's event. Esther took a long, hard look at her new motorcycle, a Kawasaki Ninja ZZR 1400. Esther knew the bike was fast, as a matter of fact, very fast. Her cousin had given her an offer that she could not refuse. And so this was Esther's new ride on two wheels. Starting the bike, it quickly woke up and with a strong sound. 4 inline cylinders, air-cooled with a restricted top speed of 180. The Ninja was comfortable. Esther felt very satisfied with it. Pulling her helmet on, Esther quickly reviewed the screen in front of her. Distance to objects were continually calculated and listed below them. Facial recognition was available with the helmet's voice command. Esther was marveled by the technology John had installed into her helmet. It seemed that complexity offered simplicity, thought Esther. Once on the bike, Esther called Day using the helmet's voice command. "Good morning, Esther," said Day. Esther had convinced John to provide Day with a similar helmet so that they could easily communicate with each other while on their bikes. I'm going to stop there. That was reading 94. I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time, be safe and take care.